storyteller number 10, Eddie Hejka. How you doing? Thank you.
I'm going to die on Friday. Friday, September 15th, 2051 at 11 a.m. How do I know this? Our son Sammy told me. Now, each of us has our own way of dealing with death and its aftermath, what comes next, if anything, or carrying on in this life after we lose somebody we love. And each of us has our unique way of dealing with this. And Sammy, because he has autism, is very unique. Trying to explain to Sammy why something happens is very difficult. You know, teaching him who, what, where, as he grew up, he got that because those are very concrete kind of concepts. But when, it took years of my wife Michelle and I working with him with calendars and clocks and calendars and first and then till he could get the concept of when. But why? That's just way too amorphous of a notion, let alone why somebody dies. But people die, you know, our neighbors, our friends, family, and it's been hard on Sammy. And like when my father died, his grandfather, or as he was affectionately called the last 25 years of his life, Jaja, which is Polish for grandpa. And Jaja was approaching 90. He had a few episodes where, you know, he lost oxygen to his brain. He landed in hospice care. And, you know, my sisters and brothers made sure there was always somebody there with him. You know, there's 11 of us. And one day that phone call goes out. You know, if you want to see Jaja, you better get here. And I went there with some of our kids. And, you know, then I called my wife and I told him when Jaja had died. And my wife's at home with Sammy. And she tells Sammy, Jaja died. And Sammy instantly becomes hysterical. No, he's not dead. Jaja's not dead. He's not dead. He's alive. He's alive. And she says, honey, I'm going to have to bring him there to see Jaja. So I go out to the front and I sign them both in. I wait out in the parking lot and, you know, we're only a couple miles away and Sammy comes tearing by me. He's alive! He's alive! And we're hustling after him into the nursing home as he's screaming, he's alive! And we go down to the back hallway where the hospice patients are and, you know, we have a huge family, so everybody's spilled out into the hallway and Sammy bulls his way right to the bedside where my mom is holding my dad's hand, you know, her husband of 50 years, you know, with her eyes all red. And, you know, they're of that generation, you know, that grew up through the Great Depression, you know, World War II. My dad was in the Navy. My mom, you know, worked in the defense plant, you know, through Detroit as the, you know, the arsenal of democracy, the, you know, Motor City. They were both, you know, the birth of the UAW, the baby boom, raising 11 children, you know. And she's holding her husband's hand. And Sammy takes my dad's hand from hers, and he raises it high above the bed. As he's crying, he's alive! And he lets it drop down to the bed. And he says, nope, he's dead. And walks out of the room. Everybody's eyes instantly go to my mom. You know, my dad and my mom, they love Sammy, and she starts to laugh. Yeah, Sammy, I just did. And everybody cracks up, except my daughter, Taryn. See, our daughter, Taryn, you know, she's our adopted daughter, and she'd seen her mother die, and she'd seen her father die, and she'd seen her uncle who took care of her die, and she'd seen her other uncle die, and she just busts out into tears, crying and sobbing and holding on to my mom. And I love my family because they're laughing with Sammy and understanding Sammy and embracing Taryn and understanding Taryn. And my mom, in the midst of her pain, is doing all this. And Sammy, you know, he still has this abiding fear of death. You know, if I'm in the kitchen, you know, cutting a bagel and I slice my thumb, his first question is, you're not going to die, are you? Or if I say, Mama's sick, she's laying in bed, she's not going to die, is she? You know, even though he's 28 years old, he's fearful. And so to cope with this overwhelming fear of death, he started assigning us death dates. And that's how I know I'm going to die. Friday, September 15th, 2051 at 11 a.m.